Well, we put a lot of miles on these this week.
Yeah, we have.
We really have.
We haven't logged all of them we'll talk about that later.
We will talk about that.
But we've put a significant amount of time on each of these. We've got the InMotion V3F Pro, InMotion V8, and the 9bot1/Segway S1.
1S1.
1S1, yep.
Yeah.
They're all different, and they all have their own merits.
They do.
They all have their own advantages, things that we like about each one. You want to start with the Segway? Since that was the first one you bought.
Let's start with the Segway. I think this is a great place to start.
Right.
The Segway is awesome. Okay, it's really a great machine. The Segway has a 500 watt motor and will give you about 15 miles on a charge. Let's start with the drawbacks.
Okay.
Of all three of these, this is the hardest one to ride. It's the
really
hardest.
hard.
It's really hard to ride.
It's hard to get on.
It's hard to get on. It's hard to start, and part of the reason is you just don't have as much of a lever between your foot and your calf as you do on either of these two.
Well, if you see, so
go ahead.
Yeah, I'll show you here. So when you get on this, when you're riding, I'm not going to get on it here, but when you're riding, your legs aren't holding onto it.
That's right. Your legs are not touching it.
Yep. And that comes into play in a couple of ways. So one, it's really hard to get onto because you really have to kind of get a skateboard start, get some momentum, and really move up your second foot really quickly. But the second con is that it doesn't have a handle.
There's no handle.
Yeah.
That's right. If you see on both of these, transporting these, either of the InMotions is absolutely fantastic. It's so easy to wheel around. When you need to park the Segway, if you're going to a grocery store or you're going anywhere, you have to pick it up with that handle. Okay.
Yep.
It's about 25 pounds. It's not that big or wide, so it doesn't clunk against your leg, but you still can't wheel it like you can these. And I thought I was going to be indifferent on these handles, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I really like them.
We use them all the time.
We use them all the time, which is fantastic. Okay, so the Segway, are we talking about good stuff yet?
All right, so negatives, harder to get on.
Limited range. And very limited speed. Limited to 12.5 miles an hour. You can run faster. Same as the V3F, that's right, so you can run faster.
But that's about it for cons. Pros,
well, let's caveat here. This was the first one that I owned.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so I learned on the hardest one, which was interesting. But after riding these two, I have a new appreciation for the Segway 1S1 because of how refined the engine and the mobility and the human motion connected is with this. Segway really did a good job. And you can tell that they're millions and millions of dollars worth of human connected technology that they've put into the Segway, and all of their technology is in here for $600.
I know, it's amazing.
For $600 bucks.
Crazy.
So after riding the V8, which we'll get to soon, but this is a powerhouse. This is fast, tons of power.
We were looking on Segway's website. This essentially kind of has the same specs as their Segway, like
their stand-up Segway, the one that you're familiar with.
$5,000-$6,000 one.
Yes.
12.5 mile an hour top speed. It's kind of the
same range,
same battery life, all that, for $600.
So you're getting $5,000 worth of tech.
And how that translates in the real world is it's so fluid and so enjoyable to ride.
It really is. And this was the last one that Chris rode, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and my first one. So when I got back on the Segway after having some time on these, I had a new appreciation for the subtle refinements. This is kind of like your Apple product of the one wheels. The biggest downside, without question, on this one is that speed limit. Yeah. You're gonna ride it and you're gonna run into that speed limit all the time.
As soon as you get going, you're maxed out.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
Yep, especially for a rider with a little bit of experience. Now, that being said, I am not going to sell this or get rid of it. I like it too. I love it too much. It is really just a real blast. Okay, so let's stop there and move over how that really relates to the V3 Pro.
That's a good idea. I'm going to give this to you.
Okay, so the InMotion V3F Pro, right?
Yep.
The V3F Pro is very similar in specs to the Segway. It has a lot of really cool refinements. Battery charge level, sliding charge port, a headlight that's on in the direction that you're traveling with a tail red light on the direction that's back behind you. It has two wheels. Now this is one of the biggest things, guys. As far as power, speed, and range, very similar to the Segway, but there's 2 wheels. So your stability at slow speed is awesome. Stability at slow speed on the Segway is extremely challenging. Okay.
I can just stand
This is awesome.
on this.
That's right. He can
Can't
stand
do that
up on
any
it.
of the other ones.
That's right. Yep. So, awesome refinements. The case is really tough. This one, we taught our friend Nate how to drive today, and he crashed it 100 times.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know how well you can see that from the video, but it has a few scratches on it. It definitely has some patina, but it's holding up really well, really well. Yeah, get some dust off. So it's holding up really well. I really enjoy this. I think a perfect pairing is this for when you have company come over and you want to go for a ride, and the more experienced rider is on this. That way you're both limited to the same speed. Do you agree?
Yep.
Other comments?
Cons. It doesn't have a way to lift up.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah, lift up without spinning.
Yep.
So when you lift the 9-bot up,
There's a cancel with the handle. You can hear it, and then the wheel is disabled. Okay? The same is true with the V8. There's a button that allows you to lift that up and disable it. Okay, so it's really great for going upstairs, up curbs, anytime you need to get off and carry it. So these, the V8 and the Segway both have those cancels, and for whatever reason the V3 they didn't put that on there, and I'm not sure why.
yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure why.
Another thing with the V3F is it is a lot harder to turn than any of these. So you have to kind of do it in a different way. Since it's 2 wheels, you have to treat it like a 2-wheeled vehicle, where instead of tipping it over on one wheel, you kind of have to put all your weight to one side, and just kind of, it's almost like, it's kind of hard to explain. It's almost like you're skateboarding.
That's a good way to explain it. That's a good way to explain it. Yeah.
And you can't quite tilt as much.
Yep.
So, or you're it's just a totally different way of turning, and it's definitely not as agile. In some ways it's very approachable because in a straight line you don't have to worry about balancing side to side as much. So anyway, but it does have some nice luxury features. One thing that we had a ton of fun with was customizing the custom sounds for when you knock it over or you go too fast, or so like.
Well, hold on. We should preface this. So we taught our friend Nate how to ride this, and we customized the "Be Careful" sound to be very appropriate for Nate. Now he didn't know that we did this, so when you knock it over, let's see if they can do it.
God damn it, Nate! And then when it goes too fast,
fuck you! Absolutely hilarious.
Most laughs just from that.
No question, most laughs of this one.
All right, and that's it. That's all I think that's really
last
all we have
thing.
to say. Okay.
Highly recommended for young riders.
Yeah, this would be perfect for a kid.
Absolutely great for a kid, and I don't think that they would get sick of it.
No.
I honestly don't think that they would ever run out of it.
Much fun.
They would love that. So if you have a young kid, maybe consider, the Segway 9-bot for yourself. Maybe this one for your kid. Now, let's get to this one.
Yeah, this is the best.
You ready? All right. So Jason over at eWheels told us that the Segway, the 9-bot, the 1S1 would feel like a child's toy compared to the Hulk, the V8 here. And I'm telling you, he's right. Tons of power. Tops out at 19 miles an hour, about 18.6, 19 miles an hour. Will get you 25, almost 30 miles to a charge. 800 watt motor and 480 kilowatt hour battery. There is a ton of horsepower in this InMotion V8, and we love it.
It's perfect.
It is awesome.
Yep.
So Chris and I were having this conversation earlier, and we were kind of arguing about the merits of all 3 of these. But where we landed was simply, if we're going to go out for a ride,
every time we take this.
Every time we take this. And we have 2 of these. So we've been riding, we've put about 100 miles on these in the last maybe 3 days.
Yep.
So we have a lot of experience on this. And I tell you, it is rock solid. We've had it in the rain, we've had it on grass, we've had it on gravel, we've taken it downstairs, off
sketchy
curbs.
like wood chips.
Really bad, really sketchy downhill wood chip scenarios. And it just doesn't care.
Now, the riding experience, irrespective of speed, still isn't as refined as the 9-bot.
That's true.
The Segway.
That's true. The 9-bot's still more
This
refined.
is still kind of more enjoyable to ride until you get to the max, and then, but this is the overall better e-wheel because of its top speed. I mean, 18 miles an hour on these is kind of quick.
It's very quick.
It's about the point where I'm not saying you like run out of courage or you run out of bravery at that point, but you don't really feel like you need to go much faster.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have that conversation. The way that Segway got its original certification to be a human extension to be used anywhere humans could use their feet was because they limited it to 12.5 miles an hour. Now, why 12.5 miles an hour? Because the average human can sprint higher than 12.5 miles an hour, and it's actually really just kind of a faster, a moderate jog. Is 12.5 miles an hour. Now, Segway was really smart in that innovation for this reason. The human body is very well equipped and designed to take a fall or a trip or an accident at the speeds it was naturally designed to move. Now, couple that with being only a couple of inches off the ground, the probability of a severe injury on this is really low.
Yeah.
Okay? However, if you're not moving faster than you can run, there is some inherent hesitation toward your speed. You want to go faster.
Yeah.
Okay? Now the InMotion V, and one more thing. You will be passed by regular bicycle traffic on the Segway.
Whereas you can keep up with and pass bike traffic on the V8.
And that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're moving, because you are. It's fast.
Yep.
Ground clearance is better.
You don't feel as agile. The 16-inch wheel is definitely a little bit larger.
That's
and
true.
It feels bigger, and you can't quite carve as fluidly and smoothly. And the V8 feels really stiffly sprung compared to this and this. Whereas when you lean in forward or backwards, you kind of get a little bit of a soft, cushy feeling.
There's that tactile feedback that's more reminiscent of a real unicycle.
Exactly. You don't get a lot of feedback.
You don't get much of that. Oh, but top speed.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to?
All right, so this is really important because on all of these, you're riding the limiters constantly. So you're always on the limiter in these two because it's 12.5 miles an hour. And you're usually getting pretty close to the limiter in this, but you're usually just below it. So the V8 has what I call a soft speed limiter in the sense that you approach it and it just gradually backs it off, but you can hold your speed at 18.5 miles per hour, no problem.
That's right.
For forever. Like
Yep.
most of our rides on the V8, we're averaging like 18.5 miles per hour.
That's right.
Which is
is really cool. So you can take it right up to its limit and comfortably stay at that speed.
Yeah.
When you reach the limit of the Segway S1 or the V3, the pedals are going to tip back on you, forcing you to slow down, which causes you to requires you to lean forward again to speed back up to the max.
So you're always going back and
so you're
forth.
there's a little bit back and forth.
And they're beeping and they're making noise, whereas this is just...
And the InMotion V8 will stay right up at that top speed. So we were doing 15-mile rides consistently, and like you said, coming home with 18-mile-an-hour averages.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is awesome.
And also, the action of hitting the limiter in this is a lot more confidence-inspiring. You're going 18.5, 19, 20 miles an hour, and you hit the limiter in this, and it just slowly backs you off. You can feel it. You can feel approaching it. And to hit the limiter, you really have to lean forward. Like, you have to try.
You have to push into the. You have to really dive into this one to reach its max.
Yeah. You have to consciously try. Whereas this, you're unconsciously hitting the limiter all the time.
That's right.
So
that's right.
That's a big, in practice, that's a really big deal.
That's right.
So,
moral of the story, go to ewheels.com and get yourself one of these, because there is nothing that I have driven that I enjoy this much. Seriously. There is nothing that I'm driving that I love this much.
We've been riding these nonstop for the last week, and we can't believe how much fun we're having. It's crazy.
You can't get enough. You just can't get enough.
Yeah, seriously.
We've gone on trails we've never gone on, explored streets we've never explored. We've gone places that we simply wouldn't go on a bike, wouldn't go in a car, wouldn't go in anything. But this, it's like I want to explore every street of the entire city because it's effortless.
Yeah, it really
and
is.
it's
so
you can slalom between, the lines of the bike paths. It's connected to you. And I think there's something about that it's
And it's a skill-based thing
It's
too.
true.
Like it takes some skill. If you don't ride for a couple days, you have to kind of get your feel back.
And there's a reward to that.
Yeah, it's very rewarding.
Very
Super
rewarding. Yeah.
And the other thing is, these things attract so much attention. Like, you guys know I drive supercars all the time. Like, I'm in crazy.
We have a Tesla
supercars.
sitting right there.
Yeah, we have a Tesla 90D over there. These things attract like 3, 4, 5 times as much attention as any crazy supercar I've ever driven.
All day long.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's good attention too.
It is good
for the
attention.
most
People
part.
really enjoy seeing these, asking what it is, how do you ride it, where do you get one, and we couldn't be more pleased.
As a result, we've had a lot of fun with it. Preston's been rocking around in his pink. He's got a pink suit with short sleeves and shorts, like a fitted like suit.
Yeah.
And
Business
you've been,
formal.
yeah, you've been rocking her that all day. We rented a Grim Reaper outfit from a local like costume shop, fantasy costume stage shop. So much. I mean, there's just you're gonna have a ton of fun.
You won't get bored with any of these. I would recommend
buying all of them.
get all of them.
But if you're just gonna get one, spend the $1,000 and get the V8.
Get the
It's
V8,
awesome.
and we should talk to our experience with all of these. From eWheels has been awesome.
Yeah, really good customer.
Great customer service. Really straightforward, quick at answering our questions, getting back to us, and that's really important when you're looking at buying anything. Anything else?
I think that about covers it. I mean, we're gonna be keep putting content out of this stuff because they're so much fun.
They're so fun.
And yeah, if you guys are interested in purchase from the affiliate link in the description. That'll help support the channel, support us making more videos on these things.
And it gets you free shipping.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, which is significant. So,
That's right.
Also, one thing with the V8, we don't have it here, but it's in a lot of other footage that we'll insert now, is I really like the cover.
The cover, let's talk about that.
The cover is great.
The cover for this is incredible. I highly recommend buying that accessory upgrade for this one, for the V8.
Yeah.
Which comes with that cover, comes with a supercharger.
Yeah,
Right,
quick
so-
charger.
Yep.
But the jury's kind of out on the quick charger. I don't know if you would really need it. These charge in ample time, and they have such a great range that I think you'd be okay.
So on the V8, it's a 4-hour charge from nothing to full.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, you're never going to wear it all the way down. You can go for a 15-mile ride and come home with 30-40% battery
But
left.
I would definitely go for the cover.
Definitely go for the
Yeah,
cover.
that's-
Yes,
that's
the padded
for sure.
cover is also great with its reflectivity at night.
Yep.
Really visible.
And it looks kind of sporty. I
Yep.
think it looks cool. It adds a little bit of padding here. One thing I would not do when you get your V8, don't stick the pads on the side here because you can't get them off without like totally screwing up the finish. I like totally jacked up mine. It's full of like sticky stuff that I just haven't been able to get off. And the pads will like hurt the inside of your shins while you're riding, and it's just way easier to not even bother with that.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
Yeah, I mean,
Durability. We have wrecked this V8 100 times.
yeah, we've
this
had
week.
we've had some wrecks. I mean, I learned on this one.
Yep.
And it took me a good solid like half hour to just go like 10 feet, and then I got it. Once you get going,
Once you get it, you get it.
you trust yourself and
Yeah.
you get the motions, and it's fine.
So we have a lot of scratches and dings on this, but there is nothing that would affect its safety or even integrity.
usable,
All the
yeah.
plastics are fine. There's
It's
just a few scuffs. It's very cosmetic.
It's all cosmetic. Yeah.
It's all cosmetic.
Yeah.
Still runs great. Hasn't given up. It really doesn't care. So
One thing I've noticed is your V8 is a little bit louder than my V8, so maybe there's a little bit of difference, and I don't know if that's just the way it is out of the box or what, but my V8 is totally silent. His, you can hear just a little bit of like an electric whine.
now keep in mind, I have a lot more miles on mine than you do on
Yeah,
yours.
so mine might break in a little
I've
bit.
also ridden it in rather substantial rain.
That's right.
Through dirt, through sand, through grass, through mud,
Yeah, you
wood
really put
chips.
yours through the ringer.
Mine's mud through the ringer.
Yeah.
So there could be something to do with that. Either way, I'm not worried about it. Performs wonderfully. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about the apps that come with each of these. Both Chris and I are using Apple iOS apps, so we can't speak for the Android version of these, which they do exist in all of them. Let's talk about one of my complaints, is the 9bot, okay? Segway 1S1/9bot. If you don't have your app on and open, and you start a ride, and you later open your app, your mileage since you turn this on comes into the app. It reads it right off of this. I like that.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
So this will log mileage without your app.
Without your app open or on at all. With the V8,
not the case.
Not the case. If you forget to connect the Bluetooth before you go for a ride, you might go ride for 2 or 3 miles, and it says that your trip distance is 0 once you connect the app. I really like to know how far I've ridden.
Yeah.
It's great to know.
Yeah.
Segway has a very advanced battery monitor. You can see voltage, wattage, engine output, amps in and out when you're braking, accelerating, etc. All of that is available. There's 2 different batteries in here, so you can see the readout on both batteries. You have that information available while you're riding on the app, as well as while it's charging, which is very valuable. Both of these InMotions lack any sort of detailed battery information. Now, we know that eWheels.com is working with InMotion on trying to get some of that back. Apparently it was in a later version, and it also exists in, I believe, a European version of the app.
Yeah, that's right.
So don't let that be a holding point for you. What else?
I mean, that kind of about covers it. Both apps connect really quickly. They use Bluetooth. This is the app. It works. It's fine. The only complaint, in practice, really the only complaint we have is that you have to remember to turn your app on to log miles on the V8s and the InMotion products.
Yeah.
Not the Segway.
Not the Segway. Now let's talk about the V3. Okay.
Yeah.
Really a lot that you can do in that app. A lot.
There is, yeah. You do have more functionality.
There is a lot you can do in there. And it's a lot of fun. So if you're going to get one of these for your kid or even for yourself, you're just not going to run out of stuff to do. Customizations. There is no external LED lighting on this except for the headlight on this. There is no headlight at all on either side of Segway's 9-bot. You can customize the way that the LEDs go around the outside of the 9-bot, and you can completely customize the LEDs on the V8, which is covered by your hard thick cover here, right? So it's covered here, but all of that lights up into LEDs. My complaint about the LEDs on the V8 is, number one, it is a little bit novelty. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we've just turned them off.
We turned them off. There is the option to go in there and customize custom light patterns. You can literally use any color from the whole spectrum. You can customize how they display, how long they display, so you can customize it. The challenge is the process of creating a custom display for the V8. It takes a long time. It's rather challenging, and I don't know how worth it is.
It takes away from your riding time.
That's
not cool.
That's honestly, that's the trick. So we feel like the V8 with this cover on it, InMotion, it's a really, really well done cover.
It is nice. It's very nice.
It's really nice, and it's very good at protecting the parts that get injured in an accident. Mm-hmm. It really does.
Yep.
Headlights, awesome.
It helps at night.
It does help. It throws a light far enough forward where you would avoid an obstacle. You would have time to avoid an obstacle
if you weren't going too fast. Ideally, you want a headlamp.
Yeah, a headlamp does help, but if you slowed down just a little bit, you would be fine not knowing your terrain on the V8 with that headlight on. That's awesome. Something the Segway doesn't have, and the first time that I wiped out on this,
was because you couldn't.
Because I couldn't see a little curb.
Yeah.
It was just past dark. I hit maybe a 2-inch curb. I would have been fine had I been able to see it and predict it, bend my knees a little bit. But I went cartwheeling off, and this thing went cartwheeling off and screaming at me and beeping and all that nonsense. And I got some nice little scratches on it finally.
The Segway totally makes fun of you when you crash.
It does. It screams and beeps and yells at you until you go pick it up and say sorry.
Yeah.
Now,
it attracts everyone's attention.
It does, and you don't want attention when you fall.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. True. The V3, customizing its fall sounds.
Wait. God!
Did you disconnect it?
I think. I just disconnected.
You just disconnected it. Yeah. Okay, you shut it down probably. Wonderful. Sound customizations on the V3 is amazing.
Yeah,
V3 Pro is amazing.
Oh, and it stands up on its own, and you can rest it someplace. So
let me show them that.
Yeah. So these you don't really know where to put them.
Wait for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's show that.
Okay. So this is awesome. When you power this, so it stands on its own. First of all, it's on. Okay. When you turn this off, look at this. This will rest just like that. It's awesome. The V8's no chance. You got to lay them down. The Segway, no chance. You got to lay it down. So this is really great.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
One last thing I want to talk about. Actual honest to God Practicality. Awesome. Better than a bicycle.
Yeah.
Chris and I went over to the Thai restaurant last night.
Overall, with all of these.
With all these. With any of them. Yeah, Chris and I went over to the Thai restaurant last night, and, you know, we get to the front steps, we lift the handle, we grab the button, we walk inside, and we just put them behind our chairs. No need to lock up a bike, worry about weather, them getting stolen, they're right there with you. It is awesome.
The thief would have to spend like 45 minutes trying to learn to ride them, to steal them.
A getaway would be funny on an unexperienced rider. Yeah.
You guys have probably, if you're watching this video, you've probably seen other reviews. You know, like all the technical features. These are kind of our just riding impressions, and I feel like, you know, these are our thoughts after a few days of actual ownership experience, and this is
really riding them hard.
Yeah,
we've ridden them all very hard.
Oh man, we've put them through the ringer.
Yes, we put
really
them
have.
through the ringers. We absolutely have. Yeah.
So they even held up in like low temperature, 48, 45 degree weather, which is kind of on the edge of what's comfortable and what's like, you know,
what you want to be riding in.
Yeah.
Well, when it's raining too.
Yeah, you don't want to go much lower than that.
Yeah.
All right.
Go buy one. eWheels.com. The InMotion's fantastic products, highly recommended. Have fun. Ride safe. Good. Here we go. Watch this. Ready?
Yeah.
Come on. I'm on an angle. Up it goes.
That's awesome. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments. We'd be glad to answer. Check out the link. Contact, give eWheels a call if you guys have any more questions. They're pretty awesome about answering stuff. I had some concerns when I was like shopping for this stuff. Jason was really good about answering everything.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, we bought these. They gave us this to review for free, which is I think it was cool because we said we'd do some reviews and videos on this stuff. It's nice to have all three of these in kind of a lineup to just kind of get an idea of the marketplace. And
that's right.
I think there's even a sale on this for it's like under $500 and stuff.
Yeah, for that you cannot go wrong.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong. You will in one day you will have the value of that. The value of that in one day is worth it. Yeah. Honestly.
All of these are worth it.
All of it. Yeah.
But if you're gonna buy one and you can foot the bill.
And you want to commute.
Yeah. And
or you're actually going to put some miles on it. This one. Yeah. Good?
Good.
Till next time, guys. And let us know what else you want us to review.
Yeah.
We'll be happy to crash it for you.
Cool, man. All right. See you later. Thanks for watching, dudes.
Have a good one.
Yep.